Podcasting from Music City, USA, it's the Nitty Gritty from Music City with your host, singer-songwriter, entertainer, band van riding, guitar slinging, wheeling and dealing. Man, he'd probably even cut your grass if you ask him. Podcast recording, Brent Browning.
No way, Bubba. I ain't cutting your grass. $20 I cut it. Better be a small yard, though. Howdy, everyone, and thank you for listening this week. As you know, maybe you don't know, maybe this is your first time listening, but each week I try my best to bring you the best artists from here in Nashville, Tennessee, and this week is no different. So welcome to the 27th episode of the Nitty Gritty from Music City. I'm so honored to have my guest this week, one of 3 people to be chosen to be inducted into the 2016 Country Music Hall of Fame. Mr. Charlie Daniels joins me this week. Man, I've always wanted to say that. I'm so glad Charlie took a few minutes out of his day to talk to me. Charlie didn't have much time to talk for very long. He was in between meetings, so today's episode isn't very long. Sort of brief and to the point, but it's a great show nonetheless, and I'm glad you're here. Now, as the podcast rolls on, keep in mind that I'm no journalist. I'm just a fan of country music. I talk a little different, and I do things a little different. So I ask questions in a different order. I'm just me. I'm not a journalist. I haven't been trained to do this. I just love country music. And living here in Nashville, Tennessee, and being in the music and entertainment business has put me in a great position to sit down and talk to some of my favorite artists and record our conversations. And I just hope you like them. You can come back each week as I bring you a new artist every Thursday. The Nitty Gritty from Music City is always free, and I say always free to subscribe to, download, and listen to each week. Now, I say subscribe because by subscribing in iTunes, Podcast Addict, or your preferred podcast player, you get each week's episode downloaded automatically to your favorite device so you never miss an episode. Can you believe all this is free? Folks, it's F-R-E-E, my favorite F word. You got nothing to lose. Go hit that subscribe button. And that's thanks to my great sponsor, Woodshed Studio. If it weren't for great sponsors like Woodshed Studio, none of this would be possible to you, the listener, each week. So stay tuned for more information about our great sponsor. I have more great guests on the horizon for you, too, as well. You don't want to miss next week's episode. I'm going to tell you, it's big, too. The Nitty Gritty from Music City is on Twitter. Oh, yeah, we are Twittering up everywhere. Twittering it up. However, I don't know how you say that. Whatever you want to call it, we're there, and you should join us because each week I tell which guest I'll have on the show a few days in advance over on Twitter. You can find us. Our handle is at 615 Nitty Gritty. We're on Instagram too and Facebook. If you want to see the artists, head over to Instagram and see the pictures of all these decked out artists who come and join me in the studio. The Instagram handle is the same as the Twitter handle at 615 Nitty Gritty. If you don't want to download one of the highly technological podcast players thousands of people are listening to the show on each month, you can always listen to the podcast on Facebook. The Facebook is not a great way to contact the show, but it is a great way to listen. The web address over there is www.facebook.com/nitty.gritty.3958. While you're listening to the show on Facebook, won't you be kind and hit that share button? I would appreciate that, and I know the artists would appreciate you sharing their story as well. You can always stay up to date on the Nitty Gritty for Music City website, which is www.ngfmc.com. That's the first letter in every word of Nitty Gritty for Music City. Let's take a look at what's on my mind this week in today's blabber. Oh, today's blabber, how I don't like you at times. It's times like this week when I realize I've been hard-headed and set in my ways for way too long. I realized this week when I bought Justin Moore's new album called Kinda Don't Care that I've been too hard or too hell-bent on keeping my music and my music taste more in the 90s style traditional side. Most of the songs on Justin Moore's album have, and I don't know the technical name for it, but I call them a drum box, a beat machine, or loops, if you will. I've always been dead set against using or even liking drum loops in a country music song or on an album. But this album, the more I listened to it, the more I liked it, and the more I just couldn't get enough of it. Now, keep in mind, Justin doesn't sing many, if any, bro country songs, so I guess that's why I don't mind the drum loops on the new album. Saying that, I listened to the album one time and was like, no, I guess I wasted $10 on that album. But after going back and actually hearing the words a few more times, I'm hooked, and I'm actually liking the new sound. I don't have the album in front of me at the moment, so I'm paraphrasing. But on one of the CD insert booklets, Justin said there's stuff on this album that he's done before and stuff he hasn't done. I'm glad he ventured out a little bit on this album because it opened up my eyes and made me realize that if you don't change with the music, it will definitely leave you behind. All I can say is I'm trying to catch up. Let's see who all had birthdays this week. Looks like all the birthdays were on Sunday. Oh, Shanae, Miss Shania Twain, she turned 51. Woo-wee. Man, she still got it. She's still rocking it, too. Cassidy Pope, she turned 27. Leanne Rhymes hit the 34-year mark. And Jake Owen blew out 35 birthday candles this past Sunday. That's going to wrap up today's blabber. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty from Music City with Charlie Daniels. Man, I always wanted to say that. All right, guys, got a big show for you today. On the line with me right now, man, I tell you what, this fella is a legend. Man, I've listened to him growing up my whole entire life. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only, Mr. Charlie Daniels. Charlie, how you doing today, man?
Hello, y'all. I'm good. How's everybody?
Man, we're doing good now that we got you on the line.
Glad to hear it.
Hey, Charlie, I know you don't have much time with us today. I want to go ahead and talk to you about your new album, Nighthawk. You released your album, It Don't Get No Better Than This, earlier in this year to celebrate the National Finals Rodeo. Did the rodeo feel inspire the creation of this new album called Nighthawk?
No. That actually was this album has been in the planning stages for years. I have some of the songs that are on there. I have held for a lot of years. Nighthawk, Can't Beat the Damned Old Machine. I wanted to do an album of working cowboy songs, like the guys that actually work with the cattle, which there are still quite a few of out in the Southwest and the Northwest. And I wanted to do a song that reflected their way of life and what they were all about. And I just kept going until I had enough songs to do it with. And I finally got enough songs this year, so.
Yeah, man, this album right here is totally different than what I've heard you put out before.
It is. No doubt about it. But so was the Dylan thing, you know. And so is probably the next project I do. It's like I got all these things backed up in my mind to one degree or another of fruition. I mean, to bring them to fruition. And I just, as I get to them and have the time to do it, I go in and do it. So this is one of those things. This is one of an idea whose time finally came that had been in the works for a lot of years.
Congratulations on being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. How does it feel to finally be recognized as one of the all-time great country performers?
I have not learned to assimilate that into my life yet. I'm still wondering if somebody's going to come up and say, we're just kidding. This ain't real, and then bring out the TV camera and say this is a new TV show, where we tell people things and then we take it back. No, I'm firmly convinced it's happening, but it's just hard to imagine because I never spent any time thinking about what it would be like to be a member of the Country Music Hall of Fame. I never really spent any time. I imagine what it would be like to be on the Grand Ole Opry and a lot of the other things that I've had been blessed enough to happen to me in show business. But this is one you don't dream about. You have no way of gauging anything about it. You don't know if you're closer to it or further away from it than you were last week, or because they keep the voting membership is kept secret. It's rotating. And it's just really hard. You don't get any fix at all. You just hope that one day that a bunch of people will walk in a room and somebody will say, let's put Charlie Daniels in the Hall of Fame, and enough hands will go in here to get it done. But you have no way of knowing that. It was a total, complete surprise to me. So I'm still kind of assimilating that into my life right now.
One of my favorite songs on the album was Billy the Kid, talking about Utah Phillips on the album. How did you get the idea to write this song? Have you ever met Utah Phillips? I mean, what's the deal here?
I never met Utah Phillips. The idea for doing the album was a concept to me. It was a working album of working cowboy. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say working cowboys?
Absolutely, Charlie. Believe me, I'm a cowboy in sort of terms.
Well, basically, when we think about cowboys, we think about somebody in the movie, somebody glows in the dark and comes in town with a silver-mounted saddle and shoots somebody and knocks 5 or 6 guys out and then leaves town. That's the working cowboy is actually somebody who really does handle cattle, and there's still a lot of it that goes on these big multi-thousand-acre ranches out west. They have to have cowboys to handle the cattle, to move them around and keep up with them. And back in the old days of the cattle drives, when you used to drive the cows to the railhead, was probably the most romantic time of the cowboy life. And it was hard work, it was dangerous work, and it's that was a life that the thing that I was trying to get into. Actually, was more so rather than the cowboy, the movie cowboy, the actual real showing up working cowboy. So that's what most of these songs are about the life of a working cowboy.
About the exhibit at the Country Music Hall of Fame, will there be any instruments on display there? Maybe any guitars from the D-Land sessions, maybe?
There will be, yes, definitely. I know I know of one guitar I did on the Dylan session that they've got down there. They're coming out. In fact, just the other night we were down there and they were asking about some more instruments. So they're going to come out and go through my instruments that I have out here and pick several more, probably some fiddles and some guitars. And I don't know for sure yet what they're going to be taking down there, but I do know that there's one guitar that I play on the Dylan session is down there already. It is a '68 Fender Telecaster.
Do you still have your Jaguar from the '58 band, the Jaguars?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I played bass in that band a lot, and I don't play bass anymore, so I don't really have those. Don't have those instruments.
Talking about your volunteer jam coming up. Now, I know the last year you had a whole bunch of surprise guests that showed up. This year, can we expect any surprise appearances for maybe some of your favorite people?
Well, at the volunteer jam, you can't ever tell who's going to be on, actually. But most of the time, we usually have some people we cannot announce because of commitments in the area. This year, so far, all the acts that we've got coming, we're able to announce in advance. Now, we've got a couple of acts that we cannot announce. We've got one really huge country act and one really huge rock act that we cannot announce yet because they have commitments in the area or something that precludes them having their names mentioned. So sometime like maybe the last of September or the 1st of October. But last year we sent out invitations, and usually when we send out invitations, only a certain percentage of the people who we send them to are able to accept. Last year, gosh, it seemed like almost everybody accepted the invitations, and we ended up with so many artists, we only had time for everybody to do like 1 or 2 songs. So this year we decided to cut back on the amount of artists and give everybody a little bit longer to play. So we won't have as many artists, but just as bigger names, and I will say possibly some surprises, because I have myself been surprised by people. If they're in town, they find out the volunteer jam's going on, they'll come down. And sometimes I've had Billy Joel come by. I've had Roy Acuff come by. I've had, people through the years that just happen to be in town, and they'll come in and, they'll come into the jam. So I don't know about the surprises, but I know that the ones we are announcing are just, it's just going to be an incredible show. We got all the bases covered. We got the rock and the country, and country rock and a southern rock, and we got all the bases covered this year. It's going to be a dynamite show.
Man, listen to the album, love it, man. Some of the notes I've written, I took down were fresh stories, cowboy music, country music. This album was fresh on my ears. I really loved it. What was your favorite song recording on this album?
I had been waiting so long to record so many of these songs. This is an idea that has been in my mind for I guess you could almost say decades. Some of these songs I've been holding on to for 10, 15 years. waiting to get enough songs together to do an album. I had always intended to do this album. I just had to wait until I got enough songs that fit the bill to do it. So we finally got enough tunes together. We got 10 tunes together and went in and did it. These are some of my very favorite cowboy songs,
right.
And I would be real hard pushed to pick a out and out favorite. I love the song "You Can't Beat the Damned Old Machine" a lot because it really tells the story, and the Nighthawk song, the title song, because I'm a big story song guy, and they both kind of tell a story and paint a pretty poignant picture of the characters they're talking about. But I love playing all of them.
Man, on my notes, I actually have Nighthawk, Can't Beat the Damned Old Machine, and Billy the Kid, asterisk. And those three were probably my absolute very favorites. You know, I love the whole album. Can we expect another Charlie Daniels album anytime in the future?
Yes. I haven't started. I've started to work on the material, but I've not started to work on, obviously, on the album yet. I'm right back in the same boat. I got about 3 or 4 songs, and so I got to wait till I get enough songs, to do a complete album. Now I'm going to record it.
Awesome.
I'll be recording as long till the good Lord calls me home. I'll be in the studio.
Hey, Charlie, how many years has this volunteer jam been going on? I know you have a bunch of them under your belt. How many did this make?
This is number 42. This is 42nd anniversary.
Wow, man. Are you doing 100 concerts this year? How many concerts are you doing exactly? I know you're still out there touring like crazy.
107 or 8, something like that, yeah.
Wow. You just turned 80, and it amazes me that you're still touring. How do you top all of the accolades that you've acquired so far throughout your career? What's next for Charlie Daniels?
I couldn't imagine. And by the way, my birthday's not the 28th of October, so I got a little bit longer being 79. But this last thing that happened to me, this Country Music Hall of Fame, was so completely unexpected and came so out of the blue. I had no idea it was happening. And I'm still learning to live with that. I'm still trying to accept the fact that I'm going to have a plaque in the Country Music Hall of Fame down there along with so many of my heroes. And it's I don't know where you go from here as far as accolades are concerned. I mean, I don't know, I don't know what else it would be. Grand Ole Opry was one of my huge aspirations. I really wanted to be a member of the Opry, and you don't even dare dream about the Hall of Fame because you don't have any way of, you can't lobby for it because they keep the voting membership is kept a secret, and it rotates through the years, and it's just something that it's almost like somebody walked up and said, "You won the lottery." That was like winning the lottery to me, was get put in the Country Music Hall of Fame, and I'm still learning to accept it. I'm so deeply honored.
Well, Charlie, whatever you've been doing, keep right on doing it, brother, because it's working. And, man, I want to tell you, thank you for calling into the Nitty Gritty from Music City today. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to do that. And, man, call us back anytime, and we hope to see you at the Volunteer Jam, and we're really looking forward to getting this CD out there. It's called Nighthawk. So, thank you, Charlie Daniels, for calling in, brother.
Thank y'all. All right, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We'll see you. I want to say thank you for downloading the Nitty Gritty from Music City again this week, and I want to say a big thank you to Woodshed Studios. Are you looking for a recording studio to help bring your lyrics to life without having to take out a loan or the car to do it? Does the garage have too much stuff in it for the band to practice? If so, Woodshed Studios is the place to be for your recording and rehearsal studio needs. Woodshed Studio uses Cubase Pro 8 software and Melodyne editor to fix some issues. There's a vocal booth, drum room, and a control room. Bring your band to practice. If you want to record but don't have access to Nashville's best players, Woodshed Studio can provide some of Nashville's best musicians for your recordings. Woodshed Studio guarantees to beat all studio prices in and around Nashville, Tennessee. Don't wait. Bring your songs to life at Woodshed Studios. Call Big Country Dave Sermon, 615-779-4657, and use promo code NITTYGRITTY to get an even cheaper rate. That number again is 615-779-4657. Promo code NITTYGRITTY. I can't say thank you enough to Mr. Charlie Daniels for calling into the studio today. Man, what a huge honor and what a great experience that was just for me. Y'all go ahead and get his new CD. It's called Nighthawk. It's cowboy songs. It's not country music. It is straight up cowboy songs, and I'm digging it. I like it. I got it on repeat right now. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me today. Make sure you are subscribed in iTunes, Podcast Addict, or your favorite podcast player. I can't say it enough, folks. You will never miss an episode as long as you're subscribed. Come back next week when I'll have another great show for you. And I got a big artist, man. I tell you what, they keep rolling in. I'm so thankful for it. Big artist next week. I'll tell you on Twitter, if you'll find us at 615 Nitty Gritty. I'll tell you a few days in advance over there. So until next week, remember, folks, everybody you meet, everybody you see, everybody's going through something that you don't know about. So everybody be nice to everybody. My name is Brent Browning. We'll be Tennesseeing you next week.